Alright, hi students, this is Mr. Lim here again, and this is our second video on flipped learning, the introduction. So we're going to learn about how this class is going to work. So let's get going. Alright, so we're going to work out how the class is going to work and the roles of the teacher and the students here. Alright, so let's have a look. So what we would say is normal instruction involves being introduced to the idea in class and then reviewing it at home. So the idea is that, a teacher would go through and discuss ideas, explain ideas in class, and then you would review things at home. So you'd be set homework, say do these questions, blah, 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 all right? However, flipped learning now then says that instead of being introduced to ideas in class, we're going to introduce the ideas at home, okay? So you're going to be trying to learn stuff at home, and then you're going to be spending a lot more time reviewing it in class. Okay, so the idea is that you're trying to maximize the time that you can interact with the questions, okay, and encode that information into your long-term memory. And so we discussed this in the last video. It's all about trying to get stuff into your long-term memory. And if you get it into your long-term memory, then you can access it easily, and then you won't overload your working memory when you're trying to solve a problem. It's all about trying to reduce your working memory load. Right, so the idea is that you need to be interacting with these ideas as much as possible, and if you're going to pick a time to interact with them, you should totally pick a time where you can interact with them as much as you can, which means in class, and with people who can help you, which means your buddies and your teacher. All right, so that's the idea. We're going to be introducing ideas at home and reviewing in class. Right. However, this means that you're going to have to be very disciplined to watch these videos, because that's how I'm going to introduce the ideas to you at home, and use the class time effectively, okay? So your year 11s and 12s now, all right, you've chosen this subject, you're going to have to be disciplined to stick with it, and you're saying, okay, then you're going to make a commitment to try and learn as best as possible, and you're going to have to do things at home and in class and not just waste your time, all right? So at home, what are we going to be doing? So let's have a look. We're going to be watching the videos. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of videos on YouTube with all the ideas, and you're going to watch these, but they are an introduction to an idea. You're not expected to fully understand them after watching one video. That's what we talked about before. If you just watch these videos, that's passive learning. Like it's going into your working memory for a moment, but if you don't engage with them, it's just going to be forgotten immediately, all right? Or not immediately, it's just going to be forgotten over time. So the idea is that it's an introduction to an idea. It's not understanding. It's not expected to go into your long-term memory. It's expected to go into your long-term memory when we do stuff with it in class. All right. However, when you do watch these videos, they're going to be using a platform called Style. All right, which is effectively a website which allows me to put on videos and then have you answer questions immediately after watching the video. Okay, so you engage with the new ideas immediately by answering the questions. Okay, so instead of it just being, oh yeah, you watch the video and then maybe 1 or 2 days have passed before you start to answer questions, there's a question immediately that you have to answer, and then you can go through it and then work out where you went wrong. So it helps you identify misunderstandings as early as possible. So you should answer the questions, so they're multiple choice or like text questions, and to the best of your ability, and then you submit the work. Okay, once you submit the work, you should be able to see which of your multiple choice questions you got right or wrong, all right? And then once you've seen what you did right or wrong, again, engaging with the material, not just, I'm just watching this video and I'm just gonna sit here and zone out for 20 minutes, right? Once you've watched the video, you answer the question, that's engagement again. You then submit it, then you look at the things that you've done, all right? So then you say, okay, then, I got these ones wrong. Why did I get these ones wrong? Do you go rewatch the video? Do you look at the text again and you say, okay, well, I see, this is why it's wrong, okay? So if you can clearly see where you went wrong, you should change the answer, and then you, that's it. So now you have a record of what the correct answer is. But if you have no idea why your answer was wrong, right, you need to leave it wrong so that I can see that you've got it wrong, and then ask for help in class. Okay, because there's no point going into this and saying and trying to look good by oh, I got 100% on all the multiple choice questions in the style lesson. That's no point, right? That's absolutely no point because no one's checking it. It's not going towards your grade or anything, all right? So you need to be saying, okay, well, this is a way for me to learn things, and this is identified, I don't understand this idea, all right? So if I don't understand this idea, I go seek help, all right, in class, and then I can get better at it instead of just like, saying I scored 100% in the style thing. It's like, who cares? Like, no one really cares. Okay, so that's the idea of that particular platform. Okay, when you're at home, you're going to have to make sure that you're using your time as wisely as possible. Okay, so you need to ideally schedule your video watching, because what's going to happen is that I'm going to set you a set of videos to watch, maybe, one to up to 8 odd videos to watch over a period of a week. And then you're going to engage with those videos in the week after by answering questions. So effectively, you're always going to be answering questions in class that you've watched videos for maybe 3 or 4 days after you initially watched it, all right? But you've got to make sure that you've scheduled yourself a time to watch, all right? It may take more than an hour to watch all the videos and answer all the questions, all right? I'm in the process of adding up all the minutes and hours that you need to watch every week, and it's roughly between 30 to 60 minutes that you need to watch the videos, and then it's going to take you some time to answer the questions. So I would say an hour and a half over an entire week. Okay, so that I would assume would be possible for you to do, right? So just make sure that you've scheduled that in. If you want to put in that effort, that's what you're gonna have to do. All right, so when you watch these videos, there comes with an associated booklet, and the booklet has the majority of the text, and you have to fill in a little bit of the blanks. Okay, again, what you're aiming to do is use your time effectively. You're not going to write everything down. There's no point watching the video and copying it down word for word in another textbook, right? Rewriting the text on screen is a waste of time, right? It is not actively engaging with the ideas, right? It'd be better for you to quickly watch the video, quickly write down the ideas. That's that first level engagement. What is the key ideas? When you watch the videos, all the text will be there, and then in the booklet, certain keywords will be left out, and so you have an idea that, okay, these left out words are key ideas. That's the first level of engagement. The second level of engagement, okay, I've watched a portion of this video, I'm going to go answer the questions. That's the second level engagement. The third level engagement is when you go into class and you do the questions and you ask questions about it, and you go discuss it with the other people, and there's other things that we do in class as well. But as you see, it's all about the engagement over and over and over and over again until we get it into your long-term memory, okay? So don't rewrite the text because the booklet has all the words in it, all right? Then you also have retrieval practice sheets, which we'll talk about later, which have the main ideas, all right? So the only thing I think you need to really make sure that you're copying is copying down diagrams and key ideas. You'll notice that the booklet, and I'll always show this to you in class, the booklet is arranged in a way where you can write down key ideas and diagrams next to the text so that you can engage with it and just make sure that you're kind of getting as much as you can out of it, right? So again, at home, you also need to be doing revision, a little bit of retrieval practice sheets or revision booklets, okay? Schedule them in, all right? But try for small portions, but often. All right, so instead of just saying, okay, I'm just going to do the entire revision booklet or the revision that I'm supposed to be doing on Sunday for whatever time, right? Maybe say, okay, I'm going to try and do it a little bit every day, or you're going to do some Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that, okay? You've got to do it in smaller portions, but as often as possible to get it into your long-term memory, okay? So that's what you're going to be doing at home, all right? And at home, there's a lot to do, right? But it's all about introducing you to the ideas, and the key thing that you're going to be doing is all of what we do in class. Okay, so what are we going to be doing in class? We're going to be completing lots and lots and lots of questions. Okay, so each topic will come with a booklet, and each booklet has tons and tons of questions. You're going to try and do them all. All right, you're going to, once you've done some, in class, you'll just be sitting in groups, and I'm not going to be telling you what to do. You're going to be working on things on your own, right? And then you can see what other people have gotten. You can work through it together. I would not recommend that you're just like, oh yeah, I'll just let person A, one of my buddies, who's an A grade student, just do all the work and I'll just copy out of them. There's no point. If you're choosing to do this class, you're going to choose to do the work, right? So check what other people got, whether it's similar or different, and then confirm with me or confirm it with others which one is the correct answer. All right. If you're stuck or if you can't answer a question or you've got a particular question to ask, right, you're going to put your name on the board and ask for help, all right, in reference to a particular question number. Okay, so the idea is that if you can't answer it and if you don't know who else can answer it, then you ask for help. Okay, this is not something that you should be worried about. I would expect that everyone puts their name up on the board and everyone asks questions, because if you're not asking questions, you're not learning anything. All right. So I ask you to put the question number in there so that if other people who have the same question, then they can also listen into the answer as well. All right. At certain points in times, I'll be calling up small groups of students to work through a sets of questions, right, to test your understanding. Okay, so this is a time where I'm going to really push you to show, your understanding of a particular process or a particular idea, right? That is key, and then we're just going to keep on cycle through the class in these small groups until everyone's gone through those small ideas. All right. It's really important that during this time, it's going to be a small group of students, anywhere between 6 to 8 students. You have to ask questions in this time as well, right? Because if you don't understand these ideas at that time, you to go back and do more questions, and then you're gonna have to ask again later on. Okay, so it's good opportunity to ask those and then discuss it within that small group. All right. Once you've completed a bunch of questions, I'm asking you to scan and send the questions as a PDF, and I'll show you how to scan using your phone or using the school photocopiers for me to check. All right, I'll send you feedback, and then again, that's another opportunity for you to engage with the content. So you say that, okay, well then I got, 9 out of 10 questions right. What's the question I got wrong? Okay, this is the question I got wrong. Why did I get it wrong? Here's the feedback from Mr. Lim. Do I understand it? Either yes, I do, or no, I don't. If I don't understand it, I got to go check with Mr. Lim again. All right. So you've got to be checking things. And even if you feel confident about the content, you have to send it through anyway, because even though you think, oh, I got all of this right, this is fine. And, my buddy who's sitting next to me, he got all the same answer. So they must be all right. Then it turns out you're both all wrong, and then you're like, you don't check, and then you're like, oh yeah, I did all the questions. You did them all wrong. What's the point? Okay, so you have to check, even if you're confident, and unless you've seen someone else's work who has been checked already, then you can go say, okay, well then that's fine, right? But you need to be making sure that you're checking it against whatever I've sent, right? What I tell students is that I don't generally give out answer keys, and I'll give out the answers for the booklets only very close to the test, because I'm not going to be able to give you feedback in time, right? But I'll ask you to send work in for feedback, because it's like this. If I was to say that I pass your test on to another student with a marking key and got someone else to mark it, they would not be able to interpret your answer in the level that I know, so that I can give you what you're missing or if you haven't answered something correctly. And the key idea then is that you need to have feedback from someone who knows what depth of information you need to have in the question. Otherwise, that feedback is useless, which is why I don't generally like answer keys, because you look at the answers, see if it's correct, but then you don't recognize that, even though you wrote down, a couple of the ideas, you haven't written it in the right words, you haven't emphasized the right points, you haven't structured it correctly, and so therefore, you think that you'll get 4 out of 4, but really you're only going to get 1 out of 4. All right, so you have to get it sent in to get checked. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing in class, and so ideally you need to recognize, you've chosen to do this subject. You want to do well in it, then you're going to have to put in the effort. So what are the roles here? All right. So my role here is to provide you with the environment and the resources for you to succeed. So I give you all the booklets, I give you the videos, I give you the, the classroom structure to let you work on as much as you can, as quickly as you can, as much as you want, right? And then how much you put in allows you to succeed. All right. I'll help you when you cannot answer a question. But again, what I said is that, before, if you come up to me and say, I worked on this, actually, no, I'm going to say that in a bit, but yeah, I'll help you when you answer a question, and I'll check your work to see if it's up to standard. And that's so important that you recognize that you need to not just look at the final answer, but whether the answer is up to standard as well. All right. What's your role then? you've chosen this, so what's your role? You must complete as much as you can. All right, so complete as much as you can. All right, if you approach me without answering the question, all right, I'm going to ask you why you haven't given it a go. All right, you've got to be comfortable being willing to try and fail and then seeking assistance. Okay, so I'm really going to ask you, say, okay, will you say, I don't understand this particular question, right? That's fine, right? Like with what you know from the, what you've got in your long-term memory, then go and give the answer something as best as you can. Use your notes from the booklet if you have to and answer it as best you can. Then I'll let you know where you went wrong in it, right? But you've got to try, and then when you don't get it, then I'll go help you. But you've got to give it a go because I want you to engage with it. I want you to really think about the ideas, all right? You must be disciplined with your time, okay? So you've got to make sure that you are, scheduling your time. You're watching as many videos as suggested, I'm going to be asking you to watch videos on the holidays in between term 1 and term 2, and term 2 and term 3, and maybe term 3 and term 4. But you've got to make sure that you do it, all right? Like there are too many times where I set stuff out for to be done in the holidays and you just don't do it. You're already a week behind. You're going to find it very difficult to catch up, right? And, that's disadvantage only to you, all right? And if you waste your time in class, all right, you're not going to achieve what you want to, all right? So if you go into class and you know that you want to do work, then make it clear. Sit away from your friends and just be like, hey, this I know I'm a little bit behind. I need to focus on this. Or like you need to be able to tell your friends, like, let's shut up. Let's just do this work for now. Like, okay, we can go talk later. Or if you want to separate yourself out, you can go sit somewhere else. Okay, make it very clear that you're here to do work. Right? You're not going to be efficient 100% of the time, but you've got to make sure that you're using as much time as you can effectively. All right. And then if you are struggling, if you are behind and struggling with life issues, then you've got to let me know so that we can go work out some ways to deal with it. All right. There's no point you coming to me on the day before a test and saying, oh, I wasn't able to do, the stuff because of blah, 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 blah. All right. You've got to let me know as things occur so that I can go deal with things, all right? And then, what I say is that a test or an assessment is not a measurement of your learning because it's a measurement of how you performed on a particular day, all right? So, your learning is how well you can get it into your long-term memory and then use it in different situations. So if you don't do well in a test, then maybe, there's life reasons behind that. Things have happened in your life that's stopping you from focusing. That's not ideal, but then, we can go work around those things. And if you've got life issues that aren't going away, then you've got to make sure that you let me know so that we can try and sort those things out so that you are in a good position to learn. All right. So that's how we're going to roll this year. We'll see how you go. And if you have any questions, come and ask. Adios.